Hi, I'm Jamie, and I am making this video about my story with depression and suicidal thoughts because in the past bit I have seen a lot of things on social media that has hurt me and struck me really hard because it's all bullying, it's all a lot of people with depression and they can't seem to, you know, find a reason that it will get better. But in fact, it does get better. It will get better, and I know it. I've been in the shadows. I've been in the darkness that has consumed me. I've been there. I've done it. I have tried to take my life. I've done it all. But I'm still here. I'm here with you guys now and all that. And you know what? It's time for me to shed a light on depression and all that. And I think my story may help others, it may not. But I want everyone to know that it does get better. And it will. It will always get better. As much as you say, oh, it won't, it will. Does this darkness have a name? This cruelty, this hatred, how did it find us? Did it sneak into our lives? Or did we seek out and embrace it? What happened to us? That we now send our children into the world like we send young men into war, hoping for their safe return, but knowing that some will be lost along the way, consumed by the shadows, swallowed whole by the darkness. Does this darkness have a name? Well, in some cases it does. It is not understood by most, but some of us, we understand it too well. This darkness, for me and to other people, is known as depression and suicidal thoughts. It leads us to think that we can't do anything but be unhappy. It leads us to think that ending it all would just be the best way out. But is it really? No, I don't believe it is. To get out of this darkness, you need to learn to be happy with ourselves, just like I have over the years. It may be hard, and it may be a long process, but in the end, it's worth it. The social stigma surrounding depression only makes things worse. People who don't understand often say things like, well, you should be happy because, and then proceed to tell you about all the things that should make you happy, but it's not that simple. Some treat you as if having depression makes you weak, but trust me, there is nothing weak about a person with depression. In fact, I would argue people with depression are some of the toughest people in this world. To have fight every day to get out of bed because we are afraid. Because we're afraid. We're afraid to live another day because we can't handle it. And that takes so much strength when you get out of bed in the morning, even though you can't. It's one of the things that I know makes people with depression strong. We need to stop fearing the unknown. I refuse to view depression as a taboo subject. How about you? How can we heal if we can't openly talk about our stories without being shunned or ignored? We just can't. But you know what? Today, I've shined a light on my story. I can't tell you what I've been through is what you guys have been through. I can't say that my story is a dark story. But you know what? The story, it has consumed me for years. And even still to this day, I still have troubles getting out of bed. I still cannot deal with any of it. But you know what? I've learned to accept that it will get better, and it does. I can't tell you, like I said, my story may not be the roughest story, but you know what? Yeah. I can faintly remember when it all started. I was pretty young. It was the year my parents split up. It wasn't just a normal day. It was my birthday. That day I will carry for the rest of my life. Having a broken family opened up to a whole world of bullying from people that I thought were my friends, making fun of me because they had both their parents while I only had my dad and I couldn't see my mother. I was bullied for everything, from what I wore, what I did, how my hair was, and to make things worse, my last name. I got it all in elementary school. They used to change jingle bells to make sure I was in it, and they made sure I knew. They made sure that it was enough for me to cry, and then they would laugh. Honestly, it was horrible then. Again, time went on. I made friends who made me forget about the bullying for a little while. I met this one friend who had changed me for who I am today. Honestly, he's my best friend. He had the bullying worse in his life because he had both his parents and his brother gone, unfortunately. We did become great friends, and eventually we dated. We made each other forget about the bullies, but there was just one day where the darkness consumed him whole. It had consumed him so bad, and he drifted away that day. And the last thing I heard from him, we had a fight. And that day, I still think it was my fault that he did it. But you know what? It wasn't. He couldn't take it anymore. He was being strong for too long. He did end up taking his life. I found out the next day that he took his life. And in that day, when I found out, the darkness had consumed me too. It consumed me so bad that I had attempted suicide myself. I'd start skipping school. I'd start cutting as a way to cope with the pain from people blaming me for my boyfriend's death. Even after a year of his death, it was hard on me. Not just because of what happened, but because a year later I had another good friend of mine who went missing. But this time, his body was found in the lake. It sucks too because I was the last one to see him alive. So I had that carried around. Honestly, people blame me for that too, because I was the last person to see him. It sucked. To this day, I wish I could take it all back and I see both their faces again. Eventually, I switched schools to get away from the people's words, but little did I know, switching school does still get bullied, to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take people's words towards me anymore. Every day those words would consume me. I decided it was again take my life. But this time, it was a little different. I had everything ready to go for my attempt. But then, when I ran through everything in my head, I thought, who would take care of my cats? I would make my family's pain worse than what I feel right now. They would feel as I felt about when my boyfriend killed himself. They'd feel as bad as how my friends and family felt when they lost him that night. I couldn't let them go through that pain. I couldn't let them live through all that pain that I felt when I lost everyone. It was just them I was worried about. The people around me, even my friends, I was scared to lose. Well, I wasn't scared to lose them. I knew it would affect them how it affected me when I lost those two people in my life. If I would have took my life that night, I'm sure as hell that a lot of my friends' depression would have got worse. I'm sure as hell the people that I've helped would not be where they are today. And I could not let that happen. I could not let them lose someone. I couldn't let them go into the shadows that I went through. I went to my father and I told him that I needed to get help. While I was getting help, I also used this thing from my own experience to help others. I made an anonymous Tumblr page to help others. To this day, I'm still helping others, and I have saved over 200 people's lives. As years went on, my depression has gone better. At times, I have my mental breakdowns, but everyone does. Everyone copes with things differently. With me, I have this thing called the burn book. In this book, I write down all the feelings that I have. When the pages are all full, I burn it. I watch all my feelings flutter away. It helped me realize that those feelings are feelings that are not gonna stay with me forever. That in a blink of an eye, those feelings could leave me. If you're suffering from depression or any mental illness, don't be afraid to speak out. Don't be afraid to let your emotions flutter like a butterfly. Know you have people who care for you, who love you so much that would kill themselves inside if you weren't around. I want everyone to listen to these words. When life kicks you around sometimes, it scares you and it beats you up. But there's one day you will realize you're not just a survivor, you're a fighter. You're tougher than anything life throws at you. And that you are. You're tougher. And remember, you're not weak if you have depression. You're not weak if you suffer from suicidal thoughts. You're strong. If anything, you're one of the strongest people I know in this world. And I hope that my words have helped. And I hope that I could make a change one day. And I hope this is the start of it.